It's in my office. I
Good.
didn't realize I had a picture of you in my office.
I didn't know that either. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the town council meeting to order at 7 p.m. Everyone should have received a amended regular meeting agenda. Amanda, we do not need to make a motion to amend this. This was posted in enough advance notice, or does it need the amendment? Yeah, okay. So there is one additional item that was not in the prior packet. There's one additional appointment that needs to be added for today. That is for Cassandra Crew for Charter Revision Commission. Her application came in earlier this week after we published the agenda.
So that'll be G.
That will be item G for the application. And we still need for charter revision, I should note, at least I think tonight we will be appointing, if all the appointments go through, 1, 2, 3 individuals. We still need 4 more. So if anyone is interested in charter,
How many of those individuals are elected officials?
2. We need,
That meets the quota for,
if we have a 7-person committee, then 2 of them can be elected officials. If we have more, that does leave Steve out. I do know he was interested in it as well. But if we increase the number when we get there, we could have up to 15 people serving on that commission. We could also consider having 7 with 2 alternates, and then having, that additional 3rd person be an alternate. I think there's a couple different ways to slice that apple, but the bottom line is we still need to get 4 people who are not elected, and they can't meet without 5 people. They need 5 people to meet, so
we have 3 now?
we have 3. We need 2 more people so they can start meeting, and they need to all be non-elected officials. So if anyone out there is not an elected official or a public official, which means appointed to any town commission, and you're interested in charter revision, please reach out to myself, the RTC chair, or the DTC chair to let them know that you're interested. So with that amendment, I'll take a motion to amend the agenda.
Motion approved.
I have a motion to amend, second by Brian. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of adding item G under O? Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries unanimously. Now I will take a motion to amend to accept the amended regular agenda.
Motion approved.
Motion made by Al. Second by Jack. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. And now, Ann, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you for that. So now we will go on to our commission chairman reports, liaison reports, and/or miscellaneous staff reports. We have with us a representative from the building committee. We do have your item of CNR under financial, so if you want to give us updates that are not related to that item, now would be the time to do it. I know there is a packet included in our overall packet. But is there anything else you'd like to add to the overall packet? Okay. Then that is fine. Are there any other liaisons that would like to do their liaison report? I think I see a liaison walking on in. Would you like to give your liaison report? Sure. Great. Take your time. You're good. Amanda, if she wants to share photos, she has her laptop.
It's gonna take a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah, we go ahead and get it set up. Maybe while we're doing that, I can give my mayor's update while I do that. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Share how you're doing that for me. Yes. Thank you, so I can take your edit.
Sure. Thank you. So my mayor's update, a couple of things I wanted to highlight for you, for folks. Last week I met with, I finally had my chairman meeting or chairwoman meeting with the chairpersons of all committees, and town committees were invited to that. In attendance was the Board of Ed chair, the Board of Finance Vice Chair / the Chair of the Community Events Committee, which is Steve Waganowski, the Chair of the LGBTQ Committee, the Chair of the Cultural District Committee, and John Whitney, who's Vice Chair of the Conservation Commission, all attended that meeting. So in that meeting, I invited all town chairs of any commission or board to come and talk with me about what's going well, what are their goals for the upcoming year, what are items that they would like additional council support on, and what items or changes would they like to see or are they concerned about for the charter revision that's coming up. So I had their feedback for the purposes of charter revision. The biggest, everyone's working on really great things, and I think we are really lucky to have such great boards and commission chairmen that are out there. Just to highlight some of the work, Steve Waganowski is the chair of the Community Events Commission. They are busy planning the future Riverport Festival. It may have a different name than that, but the idea is very similar. They are really hitting the ground running on trying to get that for an August 2026 goal event. The Conservation Commission, I've had multiple conversations both with Jamin DeProto and Faye Tyne about work that they're doing on that. Right now they're working on a recommendation for us for an ordinance for a land use, for a land trust for public space land trust proposal that they're going to be bringing to us. So I explained to them the process earlier. What they're going to need to do is, if they have a proposal, they're looking at what other towns do. They need to give that to the town manager. He will need to review it with the town attorney, and then if they'll bring it to us for our review, and then it'll have to go to a public hearing. But I think that the land trust idea is a really great idea, and they're working really hard on that. So what a land trust is the town would have money available to either maintain or purchase open space and then maintain it afterwards. Rocky Hill has one. The way the Rocky Hill Land Trust works is any proceed from sales of town property goes into the trust, and then it's used to maintain open space that they have. Very well known, I guess, Killingworth did it to save Deer Lake. And other municipalities like Wallingford, Berlin have land trusts that are established. So I'm looking forward to see their ideas on that. Jamin and Faye and their committee are also working on becoming sustainable CT communities, and they are assembling a checklist of items. Jamin also recently wrote a letter to our state representatives that he reviewed with me, in support of continued funding for sustainable CT programming because of the impact that it has on local communities. So I'm really happy with all the progress there. The community, on the front of the cultural district application, as you all know, the application was submitted. I'm in talks with the chairwoman about our walkthrough day, which will be on May 7th. And we're really going to be pushing to try to make that walkthrough really vibrant so that the state cultural commissioner can see the value that our downtown and our whole Main Street has. So we're going to be coordinating, and I kind of call it like a first date. She wants to meet with a small group, and then she'll come back if they think that this is a viable cultural district for a larger event. So I'm hoping that we will be able to have a good first date and then be able to invite them back for a second one. I also attended a couple weeks ago the DEI Commission's community forum, and I know the co-chair is here to share some photos from that and probably talk about it in her report, so I won't steal her thunder. And then otherwise, Board of Finance has met and reviewed the budgets of both the Board of Ed and of the Town Council, and Sharon will have more updates on that. And those are my substantial updates. I do want to give a huge thank you to the town staff that made the composting program possible, and I know Tony is going to talk about that more in his report. But our town staff continues to think of ideas that are outside the box that bring the town forward. So I want to give congratulations to Kara, to Tony Jr., and everybody else who made that program possible. So does anyone have any questions for me on anything I discussed?
I do.
Yep.
The Cultural District Commission walkthrough is May 7.
Did I make up that day? I thought it was May 7th.
I haven't heard.
May 7th. I talked to her yesterday, so it's May 7th. But they want it to be a smaller group than what was already provided for. They want it to be no more than 2 people from the town, which is I don't think we've designated who those 2 will be. But Tony, if you want to,
I think the mayor and.
that's okay.
And somebody else.
No, okay, no, I'm happy to do it. So we'll need to discuss that about who we want the 2 to be.
I agree with the town manager.
At what time, James? Just let me make a note.
No time yet. So it'll be, it's gonna be the commissioner, or whatever her name is. I don't know who the woman is.
Kimberly
Kimberly
somebody
something.
other, yeah.
Eric Dilsner
Yeah.
from the Middlesex
Dillner,
group, and then they want 2 people from the town. So I'm assuming it'll probably be Kelly and either myself or the town manager. And they wanted to be
that-
more intimate, and they wanted it to be like a preview.
Then I'm off the hook.
And if we are successful in this preview, then they will come back for a larger tour. They want to see businesses in that second tour. They want to see like more information about the community. They submitted they're going to be asking us a series of questions about like, what's your willingness to fund things? What are your interests? Like, what events do you have in this area? What's your future plans for this area? So I don't think they want to have the big tour until they see if it's something they actually want to commit to. So,
All right, so I don't have to worry about May 7th.
not right now.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions for me? Okay, hearing none, are we ready with the update?
But they're in an email, so I would have to pull up Sharon.
That's fine. Why don't you just talk through what happened, and then Amanda can circulate the photos as part of the minutes.
And part of the problem, unfortunately, the young lady's iPad is a Mac, and we didn't have the cable for that. We only have it, so we apologize.
We're in a PC world. Go ahead, Whitney.
Hi everybody, my name is Whitney Simmons, I'm one of the interim co-chairs for the DEI. And as James mentioned,
Microphone,
health community.
thank you.
There we go.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So once again, my name is Whitney Simmons. I'm one of the interim co-chairs for the DEI committee. And as James mentioned, in March, we held community conversations. With the support of you guys, we were able to fund to have EMG, a consulting group, come and help us facilitate the conversation. The focus of the conversation was how can you have difficult conversations with people during challenging times. We were lucky to have 27 people come out. Youth Services was a great support, the library. We had a lot of people also come from the Board of Ed, so it was really, really nice. But altogether, we had 27 people, and we were able to come together and sit and think about what we want to see in the Cromwell community in regards to being good neighbors, making sure we're doing programming and events that actually support the community and based off of interest and need. And we were able to learn some tips on how to engage in conversations with others when sometimes people have different thoughts or different ideas. So we got together for about an hour and we had a cafe-style discussion where we all got to go to different tables and focus on different topics. It was well attended. We got some really good feedback on what the community is looking to see. And from that conversation, our hope as a committee is to continue to push some of those ideas forward, which some might focus on what activities can we hold here in the town hall to bring people together. We're also hosting book clubs, being more seen in the community. And yeah, that's my update for how that went.
I got to tell you, it was really moving to have some of those conversations. I was at a table with people I had never met before, who I don't know who they were, and they shared some really intimate and personal things, and I thought it was a really productive way for us to have that discussion, because I think right now people hear DEI or hear whatever, and they think it's all these other things, but what it was in that room was different people from different walks of life coming together, talking about their shared and different experiences and how that informs the way that they see the world around them. And I thought it was really powerful listening to, the people at my table were seniors, and they had very different lived experiences with me. One was a disabled veteran and was talking about how being disabled and going blind had affected his worldview and his life. It was a really, for me, it was a really moving conversation, and every table had a different conversation. So I want to thank you and your team for the coordination and for making it possible.
Yes, and once again, thank you so much for approving the budget to have that facilitator come. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Any questions for Whitney? Okay, thank you, Whitney. And that reminds me, I actually had two more quick updates. Congressman Larson came to the senior center, and there was an overflow crowd in the senior center for his presentation. It's always great when any event that the senior center holds has superfluous attendance. I mean, people were standing in the back. And then I also attended literacy night at the elementary school, which was really fun for me. I got to read them a book about a superhero dog. But it was really great to have the kids reading, and the school gave out, I think in partnership with the library, free books to all of the children that attended. So it was a really, really wonderful event, and I want to thank the Board of Ed for inviting me to that event. It's very much appreciated. And then with that, I'll move on to the town manager's update. Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to start off by introducing Maura Esposito. Maura comes to us in the capacity of our new public health coordinator. She has years of experience, 12 years as a public health director. She has all the credentials that are required for the position. She has served as a public health director. Her last position was as a manager with the State Department of Public Health, and she has over 30 years of experience in the public health field. She has a master's from Southern Connecticut State University in health, and she has a bachelor's of science in health from Southern Connecticut State University. So I'd like to introduce Maura Esposito as our new public health coordinator at this time.
Welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself? Any additional to that?
Thank
We're
you.
happy to have you.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Mayor, and all the board members, and thank you, Tony. You really got that in a nutshell. It's been really wonderful. I do have a lot of experience. I've been doing local public health since I got out of college. I've been in small health departments. I've been in large health departments like Middletown. I've been in health districts. I've been in health departments that are, state. So I've been in all of them. So I've learned a lot in 35 years. And so far I've been here only for a week and a half, and it's been really wonderful. Everybody in the town hall has been really, really welcoming. And I've been out in the community doing a couple inspections, and so far so good. Do you have any questions of me?
My only question for you is that, or not even a question, it's kind of like more of a comment. We're really collaborative on this council. Tony and us work together all the time. So if there's, things that as you go through your first year that you say we really should be investing in X, Y, and Z, talk to Tony about it. And if you want to bring it back to us, please let us know. Your insight and experience is valued, and we appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if anybody has any questions during the day, please feel free to call me, shoot me an email. Tony can contact me. So I'm looking forward to it. So thank you so much.
Welcome to Cromwell.
Okay, thank you.
And continuing on, I feel very fortunate that we were able to secure a person as Maura with her credentials, and look forward to working with her. And I think she's going to do an excellent job for us. We finished up the budget with the Board of Finance Monday night? What night was it? Yeah, Monday night. It's both nights we went almost to midnight, but we finished it up, and it's ready to be passed on to the citizens in referendum on May 6th. And other than that, Lou's gonna give you the ins and outs of the composting and what the crews did to make that. If you haven't seen it, and if you got a garden, I strongly urge you to get out there as quick as possible, because it's beautiful material and it was tested, and it's right at the right pH level. And other than that, I am available for any questions someone might have.
Any questions for the town manager? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to our town council liaison reports. So does anyone have any liaison reports to report from any of their boards or commissions? I'll start with you, Al.
attended the Senior Advisory Commission and enlightened them, what's going on in the town. Amy has got quite a few trips scheduled for the seniors, which is, it's good to see I'm gonna say teenagers, seniors have places to go and get them out of the house, which I hope I don't fit in those shoes one day, but if it is, it's great to have, getting these people out and, making them feel like they're wanted, which I thought that was great. Crossroads, they have a new market that's gonna be open up there, where it used to be, I think Hollywood Video used to be over there. There's a new market that's gonna be open there. There's the name of it, but I have no clue.
Is like a food market? I saw like a plastic sign there today. Okay.
And, that and, Popeyes is shovel ready. All they gotta do is start digging, because it's been fenced over. A lot of people ask how come it's fenced, and, that's the reason, because that's where Popeyes gonna be going, into that location there. And, that's about it.
Brian, any updates from the Fire Commission?
Fire Commission and Water District had their budget, vote last night. It passed.
I heard there was a huge turnout. Biggest
Ginormous, just slightly under 100 people. Well, which leads us to, there have been talks of merging the votes. One of their main concerns was the added cost to them. I'm hoping that we can agree to just merge it together without any sort of added costs to them, and see if they'll, at least, if not partially with the budget vote, and maybe not their commissioners. I know they have to change some of their bylaws and everything else, but I mean, I don't know, it's a work in progress.
Did it pass?
Yes, it passed.
Thank you, Brian. And I think, we can put it on for discussion eventually if they want, but I think we probably we're gonna cover the election costs. So I think if we get that message back to them, I'd love to see that their bylaws get changed so they can come on into the Big Ten. Paula?
On March 20, I attended the Community Events Commission meeting as a volunteer, and as James said, they are planning a Riverport type event for 2026, although they could probably use another 10 people on this committee, because it's a huge undertaking. And on March 31, I attended the Cultural District Commission Zoom meeting, putting the details together for the next step in getting approved by the state. So, and that is it.
Judge Arjema?
I was, well under the weather, so I didn't go to the zoning meeting, but I did run into Alice Kelly at Stop and Shop. She told me that nothing happened because she was still reviewing there's a major, revamp of zoning regs, and she's still reviewing them. It's supposed to make them more user-friendly. And then I also, there's something new called, I never remember the name, the accessory use.
Yes, the accessory dwelling use. Yeah.
ADU, thank you. And, I was wondering, some people have been worried that there's, all these little houses spring up all over the town, and I asked him, and he said that you still have to respect and obey the side and front law limits. And so unless you have, a lot of 1.5 acres or more, it's gonna be difficult to put an accessory dwelling unit on. So,
Yeah.
better, but that's something the state requires, I think, that we put into, that everybody puts into the regs.
Yeah, I think with accessory dwelling units, we're a little bit ahead of the curve, because I think it's required, but I think there's a future date for it, but we're ahead of the curve on it. I think what's gonna be really good about that is if you have a lot with enough frontage and sidage, if you needed an in-law apartment in your garage or something like that, it gives you a little bit more flexibility of what you can do on your property. And with more and more folks aging in place and/or aging with family, sometimes a little bit of extra elbow room is probably gonna be a plus for a lot of people. So they've done really outstanding work on that. I know Stuart's been working really hard on that, and Mike and the rest of the commission's been working really hard on that. So I give kudos to everyone involved on that. Ann does not have any commissions yet, which we could talk about, and then Jack.
Board of Finance was working budget, so that's what they were doing, and, that's it on that particular, area. The Conservation Commission, actually, you touched on that already, talking about the different pieces of, properties that we have in the town and, what they can be used for, and in essence cannot. The other commission is the Recreation Commission, and in that particular area, the conversation is around fields. Still around fields, like it is almost every single meeting. And their concern is that the town will spend the money for the people and the projects and making sure that we keep the fields in playing condition. And obviously, a yes from me that's what we're working towards, and I think we put in the budget an extra person or an addition in that particular area, and I couldn't remember exactly, but I think we did put that in there. So my hope is that that helps to meet what some of their expectations are. So we'll see.
Moving on to the budget report, Sharon, if you would like to give us our budget report.
Okay. In your packet are the reports through the end of March. The only budget that I'm really watching right now is central services, due to an increase in our mailings and the cost of postage and the cost of paper and our use of paper. We've been doing a lot of in-house printing instead of sending it out, so we've been using more paper. Tax collections are strong, and my investment revenue has already exceeded budget. As the town manager said, we finished up our budget meetings on Monday night. The general government was approved at $22,848,078. Debt service was approved at $2,780,684. The Board of Ed was approved at $40,600,000 for a total of $66,228,762. And that is what is going to referendum.
Thank you. Any questions for the finance director?
Sharon, a simple question, if you can let us know at the next meeting. I'd like to know, in the past, say, 4 years, how many employees did we lose in the past 4 years? At the next meeting would be fine, if possible. I think you have payroll in your staff, so
Right, I guess, you mean, are we down employees or just the staffing turnover? I just want to clarify your question.
town staff employees, anywhere from office to highway
How
department.
many we currently have?
Yes.
Okay, I can do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Brian? Any questions? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got one. Oh, go ahead.
I just noticed on the refunds, there's many, many, many for Enterprise Family Trust. This might be putting you on the spot. Do you know what that is?
That's
or-
probably a mortgage company that collects for numerous homeowners.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Can you tell me what the percentage increase is on the budget from this year to last year to this?
So I'm gonna give you two different percentages. The Board of Ed is at 6.03% increase. The town with CNR is 14.63%, but without CNR is 3.91%.
Can you give me the first one again with, what was it?
The Board of Ed or the government?
The government.
14.63, but that has $2 million in CNR in there.
Mhm.
And then without the CNR, the town budget came in at 3.91. And the overall, with the Board of Ed, debt service came in at a negative 14.15%. We reduced it. The overall increase for all the budgets is 7.76%.
And one of the things to note, and correct me if I'm wrong, one of the reasons the CNR, even though this year we do have the Board of Ed CNR, last year our CNR had ARPA to offset it, which is why.
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
It was
and
the last year we could use ARPA funds?
Yeah, and so that's why, and so folks who maybe are sounding the alarm bells on that one, last year's, even though this year, yes, we did take on a lot more CNR this year because we took on a list of items from the Board of Ed as part of our commitment to improving facilities. But last year, we had ARPA to pay for a lot of it, so the number that was left over that we had to pay for ourselves was significantly smaller. And the year before that was also significantly smaller.
Correct.
Other questions? Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead, Paul. Anything from Paula? Jack? Ann? Okay. Hearing none, we will now move on to item H2, discussion and consideration of CNR request from the Board of Education in the amount of $50,000 for a shed at the middle school. And who wants to go first? Okay. Do you guys want to? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to try to cover as much as I can regarding this shed or garage that we're talking about. First, I'm going to tell you what the problem is. Then I'm going to tell you how we plan to solve it. I'm also going to share you what the cost is and how we're going to pay for it. So first is the problem. We built a brand new school, and there's no storage for gas-powered equipment. Gas-powered equipment has to be essentially separate from the building or part of the building that's fireproof and contained so that if anything has gas in it, it doesn't spread to the building. Now, we have two ways we can solve it. We can do nothing, and then we can move all the equipment over to the town, and then every time we have to cut the grass or it snows, the town can ship the equipment over to the school, and the school uses it, and when we're done, we ship it back to the town. And I think that's silly. The other option is we've looked at building a shed or a garage that'll house this equipment. It's currently stored in the building of the current middle school, so we need to bring it over. We didn't buy any new equipment because we determined that the equipment we had would satisfy the new building. Now, as far as the cost, total cost for the entire project, I estimated it to be $31,046. That is with buying a prefab 14 by 20 square foot garage with a garage door and a side door, having electricity, and on a concrete pad. Now, with conversation with Florida Farms, where we would be purchasing this shed, they determined that the best solution is not to put a concrete pad, but actually put it on gravel. These prefab buildings already come with a wooden floor. If you place it on a concrete pad, the water will wick up through the wood, and eventually it'll rot the wood from underneath because it'll never get to dry. So if you look at the numbers that I provided you, that will result in a saving of another $3,000 approximately, for a total cost of $27,439.52. Now, how we're going to pay for it? In last year's CNR, you approved, Board of Ed approved, $269,000 for the Board of Ed to complete 11 projects. Of those 11 projects, 11 were determined not necessary. After further inspection by electrical, there's two projects, one $51,000, one $16,000, that meet compliance and meet codes, so they weren't necessary to be done. In total, those 3 projects totaled over $80,000. We've already returned that to the town. Of the remaining 9 projects, we realized about $31,146 in savings. We did our due diligence and completed those projects for less than was budgeted for. So what I'm actually asking is that town council reallocate the $31,146 left over from the $269,000 that was earmarked for 2025 CNR over to complete this project. So there's no additional cost to the town other than we've already approved. It allows us to do this project before we have to tear down the building, so we can get moving on it and build this building. That new building, the old building is scheduled to come down July 1st. We won't have access to the building as of July 1st. And the new building won't actually be completed until sometime in August. So we want to build this shed, so as soon as the shed is built, we can relocate the equipment. Yes, please.
Just a quick question on that. Where's the shed going to be?
In the rear of the building, we've gone through, we're required to have an open circular around the building for emergency vehicles. There is a roadway that goes to the back of the building for receiving. And across from the receiving area, there's an area that can be placed there.
I notice when you come in, you've got that first road that goes sort of around the front and around the building, and I was just curious where.
The new building or the old building?
No, the new building.
Yeah,
I'm talking
it'll be in the back. There's a ball field. In the back of the building, there'll be a ball field to the right, the current ball field, the
Yeah.
baseball field. This will be over to the left.
And
of the
that's
ball field.
actually where I'm going with this a little bit. It's gonna be in the ball field. There used to be a shed there. I don't know if there still is.
There's no shed there.
All right, well,
At least, I'm not aware of it.
yeah, that's probably the same shed that's been there for 20 years
Okay.
or more. And it became inadequate. I think I last was coaching in 2019, and I know it was inadequate then. So the reason I'm bringing this up is, where will the teams put some of their stuff? The baseball people typically, you know, for bases and other kinds of things, they would put it in a shed that's close. But I don't want to create more expenses, but at the same time, if there's an opportunity to put something where they could store some of that equipment, that probably would be a good thing.
Well, I can tell you that this current building is sized as small as we could in order to reduce costs. There wouldn't be any space in that building for baseball equipment or otherwise. If the town wishes to add another shed, a smaller shed, on that property, that's definitely a discussion we can have. This is,
Maybe that'll be something we'll look at down the road.
oh, definitely.
Okay.
I'd welcome to be part of that discussion.
How much equipment are we talking about?
You're talking about how many pieces, how much money are they worth?
Nope,
What's the question?
Pieces.
You're talking about, there's a John Deere tractor, 225R, there's a Z-turn lawnmower, there's leaf blowers, there's weed whackers, there's snow blowers. So you're talking about enough equipment to take care of the grounds for the school.
This may be a question for you or Lou. Is there room in the Parks and Recs area for their equipment if we were to decide to try to take on housing their equipment? Because it's literally only 150 yards from where it is now. If they kept it at where Parks Department keeps their stuff.
Yeah, Watrous, you mean?
Yes, at Watchers. I don't know how Joe is getting the stuff or trailering the stuff from school to school or
No,
however
those-
he's
those-
doing it.
Those equipment is at the school.
Well, but doesn't he
Goes to
take care of
all
more than one
three
school though?
schools.
Who?
Joe?
Yes.
Davicino. Yeah. So he,
But this equipment is at the middle school, and it's for the middle school. Joe doesn't do the middle school. Joe does the other 3 buildings.
Okay.
The grounds at the middle school are handled by the custodial staff and the maintenance staff.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me?
We do the athletic fields, and everything outside of the fences are done by.
Yeah, but the athletic, I'm talking about the school grounds. The athletic, and all the properties are done by the town.
With the exception of ECS. We do all the athletic fields, we do every school inside the fences, athletics, except for ECS. We do outside the fence lines of the other schools.
So I do believe that Joe has he has a mason dump with a trailer, and he trucks the stuff around to the schools.
But not the middle school. And
are
he only
you-
trucks the equipment
Are
that he
you saying the
uses.
other schools keep their equipment in the schools?
Correct.
Then I'm,
let me just add, maybe let me ask this. Couple questions, we'll parse it out. Right now, the current practice, does each school have their own set of equipment that's unique to that school? So does each school have their own mower? Does each school have their own snow blower? Does each school have their own three-quarter, whatever the rest of the pieces are?
Other than the riding lawnmower.
Okay, so there's duplicates of it at all,
The
no,
only place
okay.
that has one is Joe's, which we keep at the high school, and then the one at the middle school. And Joe uses the riding mower to cut the other three schools, Wiss, Edna C, and the high school.
So the only, and so the, how
And
many
that's
peo-
just the
Yeah.
lawnmower. That doesn't talk about the tractor, or the snow equipment, because the tractor is also part of the snow equipment with a broom on there and a bucket.
Okay, and so how many pieces of equipment are unique and live solely at the middle school?
I didn't count them.
Ballpark?
10.
10, okay. And Lou was shaking his head, there would not be room for those items at,
We could fit that amount of equipment up there. There may be limited capacity. We bought a storage container, some cold storage space, but
not enough for that, okay.
I'm not comfortable saying we could fit all that in there. I'd have to talk with staff. I know in the winter now, we're jockeying for space and we try to put some of his equipment off-site to get everything indoors.
Lou, you're gonna have to come to the mic if you're gonna continue.
I'm sorry, I skipped line two. Go ahead, Brian, I interrupted your questioning, or your questions, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know, I'm just thinking outside of the box. Do you know offhand what the Board of Ed's budget is on ground maintenance? No.
And so, yeah, can I pull on that thread a
Go
little
ahead,
bit?
yeah.
So if Joe does not do the middle school, he does the other three buildings, and the custodial staff does the grounds duties at the middle school? Yes. And to what extent are they cutting the lawn at the middle school right now? Maybe the solution can, what is, Lou, if you know, what's the division of labor there between the town and
My
Joe?
understanding is Joe takes care of ECS pretty much in its entirety, and then the other three complexes, anything athletic related inside the fence lines, Public Works staff does, and I believe that Joe does. Like, so you go to Wiss School where the 5 fields are, anything inside the fence is Public Works, outside the fence is not, which never made any sense to me, but that's kind of the way it
Well,
breaks down.
because what I'm trying to get to is another solution or another way to approach this is, can Public Works handle the middle school site to the wall line? And if Joe's already at the elementary school, Wiss, and the high school, and they already have adequate storage for what they need, then that would eliminate the need for additional storage here.
How would you handle the snow? Grass is easier because
Yeah.
it's easier to schedule. When you're talking about a snow event, you could be starting in the middle of the night to start it, when you're delivering the equipment. Anytime you're expecting snow.
No, I'm wargaming it out, yeah.
The hardest part is all the snow equipment, more so than the grass
Grass equipment. And how many snow blowers would be stored in this shed?
Well, the biggest piece is the tractor.
Okay, the tractor for the snow, got it.
That's a 2,000 pound, that's a 1
Yeah,
ton
that's a big guy.
piece of equipment, and plus all the snow blowers.
And we currently house all of this stuff in the old middle school.
Correct.
Why did we not design the new middle school to be able to house the equipment for
I wasn't
the
here-
grounds of
I wasn't
the
here
new
when
middle
we
school?
designed the building. I can't answer that question.
Good question.
Do you know if there were, when did the issue, I guess, just as a timeline issue, When did the issue of the storage first, was this, did Claudio discover this because of his, you
Yeah,
know,
was
because
it
that's
like
why we have Claudio to
6
find these
weeks
things?
ago or
Okay,
so,
About 5, 6 weeks ago.
okay.
that he discovered it. So it was never,
One second, you're gonna have to identify yourself so she.
oh, sorry, Heather Jacobs from the CMS Building Committee. The educational specifications, which should have included this need, were drawn up by a partner that is no longer part of this project. It was pre-referendum, and it was written prior to the building committee starting. So we were handed the educational specifications and went on that. We never had any reason to think that we stored tractors, because that's, right. And then Claudio realized that there was nothing for it, and here we are.
Well, it's helpful, it's always helpful when we're trying to figure out where to go, how we got here, so direction, both, we're looking backwards and forwards helps. Okay, other questions from counselors? Go ahead, Al.
Sir, you gave the dimensions of the shed. Can you repeat that, please?
14 by 20. Garage door on one
14
end.
wide, 20 feet deep.
Correct. Garage door on one end, on
An overhead
the
door.
nearer end,
An overhead door.
correct, and a regular door on the side.
I think I'd have to agree with the Public Works Department. I don't think you're gonna have enough room in there for that stuff. Now, your tractor, does that have a snow blower attachment to it?
No. Has a broom and a bucket, which are interchangeable.
I'm just surprised you don't have a snow blower on that for,
I agree with you, it didn't make sense, but I wasn't here when they purchased it.
I don't think that building's gonna be adequate for the equipment you're gonna be having, my opinion.
Well, right now, they're all opinions, so
Yeah.
I can't argue with you. I expect that it is. You don't? Okay.
How does this fit into the scope of the actual project itself? Like, I know we had to go to referendum for solar.
Well, I think we're doing.
What are the guidelines?
Because
Outside the scope.
The reason we're doing it
That's why
as
they're here.
CNR is because we're doing it it's outside of the scope.
So none of the bid savings, 4 million bid savings can be used for this?
No, it would also be, if we did do it as part of the project, it would be ineligible. So there's,
It would be ineligible for reimbursement from the state because it wasn't part of the original expense. And it also would cost more.
because we'd have the architect's fees and the landscaper's fees for designing the pad and all the extra costs that get added onto it, doing something so late in the project.
That's
or
right.
the change orders.
And it's not in the project scope, so
That's why you've heard the number of 50,000. We've done everything we possibly can to come up with a solution that's about half of the 50,000.
I'll keep going through questions. Any other questions from Paul, O'Brien, or Al? Okay, I'll go to my right. Any questions from Jack?
No.
Any questions from Ann? Any questions from Julia? Okay, I just have a couple to close this out. With regards to the quotes that we got tonight, these are from you said a name of a company. What's the name of the company?
Floater Farms.
Okay.
Motor farms for the prefab door.
Yes, I have. And then my other question for the town manager on this, is this something that would have to go out to bid following our bid policy?
Yes.
Okay. So, what we would do is, and then after it goes out to bid, the next step would be it needs the site plan modification with planning and zoning in order, because it's not on the current site plan.
Actually,
Or does that need to happen before it goes out to bid?
no, they can do it at the same time, or they just won't be able to expend anything until planning and zoning signs off on it first.
Okay.
May I ask a couple questions regarding the bidding process?
Sure, yeah. That's why I'm asking the questions too.
Town bid process is, if it's over $12,000, you gotta go out to bid.
Correct.
The footing for the building is probably around $6,000. The electrical is about $8,000, and the building is about $13,000. it'll be multiple contractors to cover the total of the $27,000. Do I still have to go out to bid?
It would have been nice to have this information. You don't have that information before us.
I just got this information 2 hours ago.
The way of the world.
Well, without having a document in front of me, that's possible.
It's gonna depend on how it comes in. So would this company that does the shed, they would not be doing the electrical or the gravel work?
No, they just purchase a shed and
They
they
just
deliver
drop,
it.
they just will drop
Drop
it
it where you
off.
want
It's
it.
like a stork. It just drops it off and we're responsible for it once it gets here. I
Yes,
got it.
sir.
But he's gonna need 3 quotes.
Okay, that all come in under the 12.
Because it's under 12 and, more than, 2,500, right?
Yes,
He'll need 3 quotes.
Okay. Do you think you can get 3 separate quotes that all come in under 12?
No,
Okay, so.
I don't think so. Doesn't
well,
mean I
yeah,
can't.
yeah.
You
So-
go to Cotter Farms, you go to Carefree, you go to, Stewart's Shed.
The question was, can I get 3 quotes to come in under 12,000? Not can I get 3 quotes?
No, no, the way it works actually, with all due respect to the mayor.
That's fine.
is get 3
Correct me.
quotes, and if some of the quotes are above, then so be it.
So when we approve the appropriation, we approve a lump sum, and then he would go out to bid, or he would go out and get some bids on it, and then if it came in, right, I'm just trying to understand the process. So what would we be approving
So-
tonight? Would we be
so-
approving a line item for the total project, or for the 3 sub-projects that make up
So
this
once we
project?
figure out what he's actually asking for, if it's the 27,439, let's call it $440,000, dollars, then, you would approve that, and then he would get his 3 quotes on the building. Then depending
On just the building, because the other ones are under 12. Yes.
3 quotes on the building, because the building's the driving factor, because he's gonna separate electrical and I'm assuming site prep. And, depending on what the quotes are on the site prep and the, electrical, if he's under 2,500, then he's okay. If he's over 2,500 hypothetically for the site prep, then he's gotta get 3 quotes for the site prep.
Okay. So that's all, and none of that has to come back to us?
No.
Okay.
But I am asking that the remaining funds in the CNR that we didn't expend, that we saved the town, be used for this, not the $27,459.52.
The $31,168.
$31,146 that is currently in there, because if I run into an issue where something's gonna cost $1,000 more, we're here. We're talking about going out, getting bids, get 3 different companies, put it all together, get it done. By the time that happens, if it's over 1,000, do I come back here and ask everybody?
No,
If it
you're
comes
gonna
out to
have to ask,
29,000?
you're gonna have to ask for what you need, and you can't reappropriate. So, the money he's talking about, you cannot reappropriate that money, because that's CNR money. That will have to go back to CNR, and this is a new process.
This is a new
That-
CNR.
So
That's not what I was told. I was told that
So-
if there are funds remaining, you can ask, I can ask the town council to reappropriate the balance for other projects.
I've never heard of that.
So,
In all my years, I've never heard of it being, but I'll stand corrected by the finance director.
So I did include the report in there, so if you look at your report, there is a CNR balance in there currently.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I think,
And-
yeah, we asked you to start including this a couple months ago, so thank you.
Yes, if you look, he closed those 82, 511 projects. So we have a balance of 161,985 in CNR. So you can use that money to do this project. You can't, like, reallocate. He can give me back that money and I can put it in the CNR balance, but it just goes back in the CNR balance. So you just are
So-
using the CNR balance.
We would, so we would use $31,146 from the funds available of the 161,985 from last year. So it's not a one-to-one transfer, it's from this bucket
It's from the CNR balance. yes.
balance. Okay,
And then it has to go to the Board of
And
Finance.
it has to go to the Board of Finance also.
okay,
I have not closed those other projects because he has not given me permission yet.
okay, I gotcha. So those projects are still open. So two ancillary questions with it. So, site plan modification, I know Mike Kanata's in the audience, so Mike, if you know the answer, jump in. Once we allocate it, Board of Finance allocates it, planning and zoning would do their site plan would there be a public hearing for a site plan modification on this?
I don't know if it's gonna require a public, I should do this.
Yeah.
I don't want Tony to yell at me.
Alice isn't here, so you get off the hook.
I'm not sure if it needs a public hearing or not, but I do know it does need a site plan modification, absolutely for sure.
Okay,
Which is being handled.
okay,
I was gonna say, one of our project partners is in contact with Stewart to find out what chain of events has to happen, because it's outside of the building committee, but it's part of the
I understand.
setting, so he was working, Ron was working directly with Stewart to get a direction for everyone.
Makes sense.
And this is a town project. It's
Okay.
not a Board of Ed project. This
Okay.
is a town project. I'm willing to go through it and get this done so we can complete it in time. But the Board of Ed doesn't own any buildings, and the Board of Ed is not buying any buildings.
Understood. So I guess then, if folks are amenable to it, the motion, if folks want to do it, would be, the quote here, you want the 316444.
We can word it as $27,459.52
You
with a
don't-
$3,500 contingency, so that if the $3,500 isn't spent, you'll get it back.
So let me just do the top line item,
No,
which is the
just
31.
Just the total number, that's.
So let me do the 30, so I'll accept if folks are amenable to it, a motion for the $31,064.44 from the CNR fund balance for 2024, 2025 to be allocated to the garage shed storage as described, with the understanding that the town, because it's a town project, the town bid policy will be followed for any applicable items. Is that a good motion? That fit the, okay.
So moved.
I have a motion made by Jack, seconded by Paula. Any further discussions on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstention, motion carries unanimously. And I thank you, Claudio. And I think this is a good example of maybe once the dust settles on this project, maybe, Lou, yourself, Tony need to have a conversation about, does it make sense to still have Joe, this whole arrangement, maybe Joe should become part of Public Works.
That's a conversation we definitely should have.
And, go and, figuring out maybe the custodians do the snow plowing or the town does the snow plowing. But it just seems crazy to me that we stop at a line of a fence and then somebody else does it. And I think there's appetite to fix that.
Claudio.
I mean, I just think there's a way to make this more efficient, because this whole thing about whose shed is in, where does it go, and whose equipment, it's all because it's like the left and right hand are going in different directions.
Mayor, we agree with you 100%. That's one of the first conversations Lou and I had when I got here, because I was like, wait a minute.
It makes no sense to me.
I see both people, two different departments working on the fields at the same time, so we talked about it, and it's what was in place.
Do you guys want to work on a proposal with your respect to, like, Lou, will you guys get together and work on a proposal to try to smooth that out?
We have a meeting with Public Works and the Board of Ed, we have a field maintenance commission, so we're meeting next week anyways, maybe we can throw that on the agenda.
I'd love to get this streamlined.
Yeah, if it's possible, Claudio, if you could get me some numbers, or us some numbers, as to exactly what you're spending on groundskeeping. From soup to nuts.
I don't know how to break it down. I mean,
It can be-
you're
it
talking
can-
about labor.
Labor,
salary, total.
machinery,
Because if we need to absorb it, we can
gas,
figure out what that would look like to
usage,
absorb it.
if the people who are using, all of this
Yeah,
equipment
I'll
have
put
some sort of
together
knowledge.
the information I have. Sure,
Yeah.
definitely.
just so we know if we do plan on going forward with
What the
this,
value is that.
what the, yeah, what we're gonna need to cover and what, you know.
Yes, sir. Right now, Mr. DiVicino is out on, medical leave.
Yep.
But, definitely.
Okay.
As soon as I can sit down with him, I want a clear delineation of exactly what his responsibilities are and how he works very well with the town. They have a
Yes.
great relationship. We have a great relationship with the town.
I think that request should also include, an inventory of the equipment you have and the present location where it is. I.e., if you have a zero turn at the high school, and maybe a tractor over at the middle school, but, I think that would also be beneficial. And I do think he has a trailer and he does move some of it around.
His equipment.
Yeah.
That he takes from school to school, but he doesn't move equipment.
No, I
School
understand.
equipment from building to building, he doesn't move. His equipment, he moves and takes them with him when he goes.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier, that he takes the equipment from school to do them.
His equipment, yes.
Yes. I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, we're all saying the same thing. I think let's figure out what the universe is, and then the three of you can figure out how can we streamline it to be more effective.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Thanks for the explanation.
Thank you for the explanation. Thank you, Heather, for coming tonight. Appreciate it. I don't know, did you hear me say thank you, Heather? Okay. I just want to make sure you heard me. Thank you. Lou, this is the CNR request for the $20,000 to repair, we had Termy the termite apparently come to town.
We do. So before you have a memo I sent to the town manager a couple days ago and a proposal for $19,134.88. Last week I was informed that we had some termite damage down in the basement of this tower. It was, thank God the guys were doing some spring cleaning and they took some stuff off shelves and it was noted, and it's significant. There's a 12 by 12 wooden support beam down in this basement that is pretty hollowed out. So staff immediately built a couple of walls to make sure that it was stable, and we got a company in here. You see the term Easy IQC. For those of you that don't know, that's a construction consortium that the town's part of. It's pre-bid, so it satisfies our procurement. We got them in here right away and got this proposal in hopes that you would see it favorably. I think there's a special Board of Finance meeting scheduled for tomorrow, because this is something we want to act on very swiftly.
I see that you have the price breakdown by beam, so thank you for that.
Yeah. We have, just for the record, I guess years ago, there was significant termite damage, even before I got here 11 years ago, and there's a similar beam and structure that was installed directly under this in the building maintenance staff crew room. It would be something similar, and they'll submit engineered drawings. It'll be approved through the building department just to make sure that it's structurally capable of doing what it's supposed to do.
Do we have a regular
Yes.
pest control?
So we got two answers to that question today, and I was assured at the end of the day that we have a contract with a exterminator. They come in 2 to 3 times a year and treat, and then they're on call. Yes, the answer to that question is yes.
And then this would also come out of that same, this come out of that capital, not the same fund that the other one did? Okay, so any further questions for Lou on this one? Lou, please extend our thanks to the building maintenance team for finding this and also putting in a temporary fix.
Yeah.
My understanding is this is under the town clerk's office.
Correct.
And under her vault specifically.
Yeah.
So that would be a very bad thing to cave in, all
Sure.
over our town essential records.
Yeah,
which-
that's why they shored it up immediately. They guesstimate that the beam dropped about 1.5 inches, so the floor has to be jacked back up, and they'll put it back in place.
I'm very happy they caught it. Please extend my thanks to them.
I think we all are. If not, we'd be having a town council meeting in the basement at some point.
That's right. We'll move down there. I'll take if there are no further questions, I'll take a motion to approve a appropriation from the CNR fund balance in the amount of $19,134.88 for the purpose of emergency repair, as outlined by the Public Works Director.
Motion approved.
Motion made. Second. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we move on to tax refunds. Deputy Mayor Waters.
Motion approved 1 through 33.
Motion made by Al, seconded by Jack. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Now we'll move on to the Chief of Police update. Chief, that is you.
Good evening, everybody. In front of you should have your packet. And a couple things I want to add. This past Sunday, for those of you who remember, we had the Easter Bunny come to town, and they were at the Belden Woods. I'm very happy to say that we had over 120 kids come to take a picture with the Easter Bunny, get a little gift, as well as do some arts and crafts. So it was a great event. I received a letter from a resident on Court Street this past week, thanking the police department for the increased traffic enforcement. About a week and a half ago, I got a complaint from some residents about speeding vehicles because of kids being dropped off in the morning or kids getting picked up in the afternoon. So we've been there pretty much every day for the past week and a half, morning and afternoon, making some car stops. We've also been a lot on 372, so I don't know if you've seen the increase, but we have increased traffic enforcement this past few weeks. For those of you who don't know, I received an email, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, from the state. The captain and I will be going to a meeting. They're going to start milling and paving Route 9 north, so from Cromwell north to New Britain. I'm sure you're starting to see them do the cutouts with the drainage to get ready. Looks like they're going to start May 8th to June 12th. They'll be hopefully done from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. But that's all Route 9, but just so you know, for traffic, from 7 p to 5 a, you may want to try to avoid Route 9 until they're done.
Darn. Thanks, Chief.
With that being said, part of the meeting reason why I want to go to the reading is Traveler starts June 16th. I want to make sure that this doesn't affect all the traffic we deal with Travelers. So I want to make sure they're either done or they stop before then.
Perfect. Yeah.
Officer Jones last week attended the Senior Center where she gave a education lesson on fraud and scams, which she does every 3 or 4 months, and it was a great turnout. Lastly, I'll be hopefully next week bringing to the town manager for approval our 30th police officer. The background is pretty much done. We should be done within the next few days. He will be a lateral transfer, so hopefully it will be a quick transition and be ready to go within 6 to 8 weeks to be ready for Travelers too. That will also give me enough officers to put a third SRO in come August when school starts. So with that being said, available for any questions.
Any questions for the Chief? Deputy Mayor.
372. I see where they cut the catch basins or mark them. When are they gonna do 372? Could you find that out?
I could try, but I have not been notified of when they're gonna start paving that.
Because that's terrible, that road.
They were supposed to do it last year, so I don't know what happened.
Chief, I saw an email, I think it was from Christie's office, saying there were some roads in town being done. Did you see that email? Is 372 on that, or was that just Route 3?
That was, the one I got was Route 9.
Okay. She forwarded something to, no, okay, maybe I'm making it up. I could be hallucinating.
I'm not aware of that one.
There's a lot of emails that happen in my email inbox sometimes, but I swore I saw something. Maybe it was just the Route 9
I'm
one.
not sure. I'm waiting for them to do West Street, because that needs to be done too.
Go ahead, Al, sorry.
No, that's it.
I want to apologize for not being able to make the Easter Bunny event. I was very sick this weekend, so.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Hope you feel better.
Much better. I ate solid food today, so I was very happy. No, I didn't want to get the bunny sick. He has a lot of work to do these next couple of weeks. He's very busy. The Greeks are celebrating Easter the same time as everybody else, so he has to not split his time as much as he used to. Any other questions for the Chief?
How's Cash doing?
Cash is doing awesome.
Yeah.
He's doing awesome. We actually had a visitor 2 nights ago. A UK police officer has family in Cromwell, Connecticut, and came with his family to the PD to just like to see what a U.S. police department looks like. And I happened, the night of the Board of Finance meeting, happened to come in and meet him also, and I gave him one of our patches and coins. And he actually gave us a English old-style hat that they used to wear
Oh, nice.
a long time ago, so we'll add it to our collection. But he got to meet Cash, and Cash, he was very impressed. That's the reason why I remember that is he was impressed with Cash.
Yeah,
They
excellent.
don't carry firearms where he's a police officer. They really don't have a dog that does the type of stuff we have with Cash, so he was very impressed.
Excellent.
We have a UK connection now.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions for the chief? Well, thank you to the chief and the captain for being here tonight.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
guys. We'll move on to the Public Works Director's update. Lou, all yours.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I submitted an update a week ago. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I guess one big update, I don't often talk about personnel issues much, but you guys are aware that we had four retirees in our highway division from last October to last month in March. And it's not easy to replace a 38-year veteran, a 35-year veteran, a 32-year veteran, and even a 16-year veteran for that matter. But I'm happy to report that we did have 4 promotions from within over the last few months as a result of those retirements. For those of you that know Don Quick, he's a 36-year veteran. He's been a crew leader in the department for the last 14 or 15 years. He's recently been promoted to the highway foreman position, and I expect some great things from him. We've already seen some really good and positive changes. 2 crew leaders were promoted from within to replace Don's promotion and a crew leader that retired last month. And we also promoted a truck driver to an equipment operator. So that's the good news. The bad news is because we do these internal posting and it takes time, we still have 3 vacancies, but there's 2 truck driving positions open and 1 equipment operator that's currently being advertised. So with any good fortune, those will be replaced in the next 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. You know, happy to report that there were 4 promotions from within, and everybody is to this point doing an excellent job in the new role. So, and other than that, the town manager brought up the compost pile. For those of you that haven't seen it, take a ride by. Residents are already calling; they're excited about it. I think this bodes well with the screening bucket that we got approved with the remainder of the ARPA funds late last year, and the guys were able to put a nice product together. In addition to that, they're on the back side of the new highway yard, sifting through some material out there that we can reuse as well. So, you know, you talk about sustainability, we'll certainly cut down on the amount of material we need to buy every year. And we do a job now where there's a storm line that's broken and we're pulling wet, muddy material out of the ground. You put it out back, let it dry out, and 6 months, a year later, you run it through the screener, and we got some reusable material. So that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions.
I'll start to my right this time. Julia, any questions?
How do you just like show a license to prove you're a Cromwell resident to get some compost?
Yeah, so we're gonna do it on the honor system. I don't know if you saw the Facebook post. We don't have any staff there where it is. We wanted to put it in a convenient, accessible spot. There's a sign there that says compost available for town of Cromwell residents, manually loading only. So go there with a shovel and a bucket or 2 and help yourself to it. We wanted to avoid, commercial people taking it all, because we have a limited amount the first year. Next year, I think we'll have almost twice as much. And really, I guess this year and next year, it's just kind of a trial. Let's see how it goes. I mean, we have the ability down the road to pull more of our leaves and put it aside if we need to do that. So
I think it's a great program. Ann, any questions?
No questions. I just wanted to thank you. As someone who goes to that facility on a weekly basis to drop off my food scraps, I think the team there does a fantastic job, and you should all be commended.
I appreciate that, and I'll be sure to share it with staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything, Jack?
I liked the husky that was out there the other day.
Okay.
So they all do a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, lights are up at Lindquist.
They are.
Ground work starting soon?
Field work you're talking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absent the weather forecast, which is calling for rain this weekend,
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday,
I think they had committed to tentatively coming in this Friday or next Monday, so
Okay.
let's see how the weather goes.
Yep. And then now, it says bathroom, CHS bathroom. Is there more than one bathroom? I thought we had
I think
two
it's
of
one
those.
structure with,
Oh, it's only one structure? I thought it was two
yeah,
structures.
it's one structure with 2 bathrooms on it.
Okay. Where on the grounds is it being placed?
I believe they chose a site, was it north of the football, soccer field and south of the baseball?
So backside of ECS?
It's at the high school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know that,
backside
but
of
I mean,
ECS.
backside of
So
ECS.
there would be, say, the softball field between the fence line.
All right,
then
so the
bathroom
softball
would
and
be
baseball
between
field in the back?
softball field and the track, I guess, somewhere in that vicinity.
That's where they had the, porta
Yeah.
potty before.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Lou? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to citizens' comment. Thank you, Lou.
Good night, thank you.
Any citizens' comment for this evening? 2 minutes per speaker, name and address. A stranger that I've never seen before. Go ahead, you go first.
I'm never here. Mike Canato, 136 Nooksville Road, Cromwell. Regarding the shed at the school, I heard his presentation that it's going to have a wooden floor sitting on a gravel base, and I just got to tell you, that just reeks of stupid. There's no other way to put it. You're talking about snow equipment, you're talking about snow blowers, you're talking about a tractor. All of these things are going to be wet. That wooden floor is not going to last. It's a huge mistake, huge mistake. So it should be on a concrete slab. That may add cost to the project, but do it once, do it right.
And since it's a town project, I'm sure that Tony and Lou and John Harriman will be involved in this process to make sure that's properly built and all of that. Or
First of all, I didn't agree with that statement.
Okay, maybe you don't agree with it. I'm just.
To tell you the truth, yeah, it's seen by the town because it is CNR,
Okay.
but this is a request by the Board of Ed. But at any rate, what he's proposing is already constructed. It's a prefab building, and it's just gonna be dropped on the site, on a stone bed.
Yeah, you won't be able
If
to
it was
do that.
lawnmowers,
He also said that, the water seeps up through the concrete where it doesn't do that with gravel. We have a gravel base and a Cloder Farm shed and a wood floor. Granted, we don't have, we have a tractor, a little one, and it's been there for 20 years and the floor is fine, so.
Yeah, but what Michael's saying is if you do snow blowing and you
If
bring
you're
the
talking
snow
snow
blower in,
removal
the snow
equipment.
blower will be draining onto the wood deck.
It's not like you're using it like a residential situation where you mow your lawn, you put your lawnmower away, and it's done. This is, they specifically said snow blowers and snow removal equipment and a tractor. And I know that it is not gonna withstand the test of time. I also know that Cloder Farms, it's possible for you to buy a panelized building from them, and they will come and they will assemble on site on your prepared slab. There's several that do that. But I would caution to not do a wooden floor for the type of use that you're talking about. Thanks.
Absolutely, thank you, Mike.
Once again, though, he does not have enough money for that.
Well, so let's see what we get with what we have, and if we need additional.
He's going with a structure as described by Mr. Kanata, that's gonna be a prefab, 14 by 20, a shed, and it's gonna be on 3/4 inch crushed stone. I can tell you that's exactly what he's proposing.
Okay. Let's see where the bids come back in, and then if we need to have a more substantive discussion, it can come back to us, if there's a feeling that the decision's been changed.
Since he's gotta get a purchase order from us, I'll make sure and notify finance, and if we have to, we'll hold the project up.
Sure. Dee.
Thank you.
Hello.
Diane Doxey, 52 Missionary Road, Cromwell. I just have a request. We have new AV equipment. I don't know if that includes the microphones. I do know that if people do not talk into the microphones, and aren't aware of trying to maintain public transparency. Nobody at home is getting anything that's going on here. I could not come to the meeting last month, so I went on YouTube, and I missed half of it. I don't even know if one of the microphones was on, but there's, people have to be aware of using the equipment.
Yep.
We've spent public funds to update.
And that brings up a really good point. There are two, I don't know if there's a way to fix this. There are two YouTube feeds now, one that is with the new equipment and one that is with the old equipment. Is it possible to take the old feed down because there's now no equipment feeding to the original feed? Because if you look up, right, there's two cameras up there. One is the old YouTube feed and the new equipment is not hooked up to it, and one is the new nice blue camera there that zooms and does all the fancy things, and that's the one that's picking us up now. So I've also noticed that one person will say to me, it's not on YouTube, and then somebody else will say, no, I'm hearing you fine. And I figured out the other day, because I was trying to watch a planning and zoning meeting, I figured out that there are two YouTube feeds. So I think that may be part of the issue too. If people are pre-programmed to the other one, you're listening to the old camera.
I can tell you that I received a text saying that
I did too.
That we weren't during this meeting. So
Yeah, I mean, if there's two different YouTube feeds.
but it's not being broadcast properly.
Yeah, there's two different YouTube feeds.
Well,
So
I don't know, I mean, if you stand, like Claudio did 4 or 5
That
feet
too.
away from the microphone, it's not gonna be transmitted, yeah.
Check it
But-
out.
Thank you.
If we have to, we'll take the old feed down.
Yeah, and I will say that the new mics, while they have better sound quality, if you move too far away from them, they don't tend to pick you up as well as the old ones did, but the sound quality is better, so it's not. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, agreed, thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Any other citizens' comments? No, he has his sister visiting from out of town. He called me earlier today. Mr. Rude's verbal comments were about the Board of Finance meeting not being uploaded to YouTube, but I see it is now uploaded to YouTube, so I informed him, and so we should be all set. Okay, we will move on to unfinished business, item L1, which is discussion and possible action of the culture and climate study and town council recommendations. So I had Amanda email you all the results, but what I will do now is talk through the different categories and read through the written feedback from staff that was provided. So I believe we sent out the survey. It was out there for a couple of weeks. I believe we had 37 responses to the survey and 14 written responses as an addendum. So I'll just go through the questions and give summaries of each of the results.
What percentage of that is who we, how, what percentage of that is how many people we actually employ? Like, what was the participation percentage at 37? Yeah.
We got about 125, 130 employees,
Yeah.
and that is about that's about a quarter of that.
So about 1/4 of respondents responded.
Yes.
All right, James, we don't have copies of what
So, so again, with these, because the surveys, the way they were generated was, they would have been 37 surveys with 100 pages of responses. Because the way it printed originally was every survey printed as its own survey. So Amanda gave me a summary sheet, which will be part of the minutes. So I'm gonna read the summary sheet, which
is
will
what
include.
she emailed.
Correct. So instead of printing and so I can have that mailed to you in the next part if you want it, but it is in your email.
It's in your emails.
I'll read it, I promise. So, let me just go through the questions and the survey responses. I feel comfortable voicing my thoughts and opinions freely. Again, these questions were approved by us. So there were 27.8% that said they strongly disagreed, 1.8% that said they disagreed, 30% said they agreed, 27.8% said they strongly agreed, 11% neither agreed or disagreed. I feel appreciated by the town manager, 22% strongly disagreed, 13% disagreed, 30% agreed, 25% strongly agreed, 8.3% neither agreed nor disagreed. I feel appreciated by my department head, strongly agreed, I'll read it in reverse order this time, 47.2% strongly agreed, 27.8% agreed, 16.7% disagreed, and strongly disagreed was 8.3%. Now, this one was the most negative of any of the feedback that we got. I feel appreciated by the town council. That was 16.7% strongly disagreed and 27.8% disagreed, and so that's 44.5 were either disagreed or strongly disagreed. 19.4 agree, 8.3 strongly agreed, and 27.8 neither agree nor disagree. And I think I may have alluded to it in our last meeting, but I think we need to be, again, we'll have a more robust discussion at the end. I think that's reflective of maybe we need to be more, not necessarily, more considerate and aware of what we say and how maybe it's impacting people's perception of if we appreciate the work that they do. And I think we need to probably brainstorm ways to, maybe we do something to appreciate town staff. I don't know if we need, I know the town hall has started to do recognition ceremonies for years of service. Maybe we need to start thinking about, I don't know, some kind of service award or something that we give annually to recognize some of the town employees, because I think that's pretty alarming that 44, I mean, I know it's only a fourth of the people who responded, of the town employees, but of the people that responded, 44% of those 30 feel like, and there are some comments that I'll read when we get to the comment section that reflect that they don't feel like we appreciate them. So I want to tell those people that they're heard, and I think we'll have a robust discussion about how to improve that. I know what is expected of me at work. 50% strongly agreed, 38.9% agreed, 5.6 disagreed, 5.6 strongly disagreed. I know how my work contributes to my goals. 47.2% agreed, strongly, 33% agreed, 8.3% disagreed, strongly agreed, disagreed was 5.6, and 5.6 neither agree nor disagree. My supervisor can be counted on doing what they say they will do. 16.7% strongly disagreed, 5.6% disagreed, 27.8% agreed, 41.7% strongly agreed, 8.3 neither agreed nor disagree. The person I report holds me accountable for my actions, or for results. 2.9% strongly disagreed, 0% disagreed, 45%. 45.7% agreed, 45.7% strongly agreed, 5.7 neither agreed nor disagreed. The person I report to is held accountable for their actions. 16.7 strongly disagreed, 2.8 disagree, 41.7 agree, 33.3 strongly agree, 5.6 neither agree nor disagree. I know it's important to the town manager. 8.3% disagree, 13.9% disagree, 38.9 agree, and 25 strongly agree, and then 13.9 neither agree nor disagree. In this organization, it's important to do the right thing. 16.7 strongly disagree, 8.3 disagree, 33.3 agree, 38.9 strongly agree, and neither disagree nor agree, 2.8. Two more categories. Individuals and departments are encouraged to work together. I'll do it in reverse order. 30.6 strongly agree, 41.7 agree, 11.1 disagree, strongly disagree 5.6, and then 11% with neither agree nor disagree. And the organization encourages helping others even if it's not my job. 5.6 strongly disagree, 5.6 disagree, 47.2 agree, 22.2 strongly agree, neither disagree nor agree, 19.4. So those are the summary, and then do folks want me to read all 14? Okay. So there are 14 individuals who chose to respond with specifics. I think they'll speak to themselves. There's a pretty clear split. Some people are unhappy with certain things, and there are some things in here that are I think alarming, and there are other things that are pretty positive. So one of the things I want to address is one employee said that the mayor has walked by them before myself and hasn't said hello or thank you for your work or anything like that. I don't know who the employee is, but I want to apologize for that. I think, I try to be really friendly to everybody, and if somebody doesn't feel appreciated by myself, I want you to know that I apologize for that. You're valued. Anyone who's in this building is valued, and I take accountability for making someone not feel valued. So I hope that message gets back to that anonymous person. But to all of the town employees who may be listening, I think I value you, and I think the fact that the town council appreciates me, i.e. the employee, is the most negative of all of the categories, just shows that I think we need to try to find a way to be constructive with our maybe sometimes criticism about how we would like to see things done differently, but be positive about the people who are doing the work. And I think we can be constructive without being negative. And I think that was the most eye-opening comment for me. there was other things in here as well, but I'll open it up for discussion for folks.
Do we get copies of that?
So all of them were emailed to everybody, but do you guys want them mailed to you as well, or is the email copy sufficient?
I found the email pretty easily,
Okay.
so.
Okay, everyone, okay. We'll put it in the minutes for the next meeting.
Oh,
Sure.
okay, good.
Yeah, and when we tried to first print it, it was like, the packet originally was like 100 and something pages. So that was part of the difficulty of trying to figure out how to squish it down, because every survey printed as a separate survey. Other comments or discussions from the employees or the survey results?
What,
We have
it's
the
such a small number.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that say? It either says 3/4 of the employees are pretty happy, or they feel that their plot is so hopeless that they don't wanna fill out a survey. I mean, I assume it's the first one. I mean, you know, if they were extremely unhappy, I guess they'd want to comment or, I don't know, badmouth their supervisor or something, I don't know, but it just seems like a low number of people commenting for us to get exorcised about, you know, you not saying hi to somebody. I mean, that's.
Other comments?
Did we get a copy of what you had there?
Yes, this is gonna be sent in the packet to everybody in the minutes, and it was emailed to everybody.
Thank you.
I realize one of the comments explicitly asks me to read it out loud. Should I read it out loud? Because it says, please read this out loud in the survey response. I feel like that means I shouldn't, okay. It's gonna be circulated to everybody. It's already been circulated to everybody. It'll be in the minutes. Is there anything that we would like to, any other comments on this? Anything we would like to do? Do we wanna put it back out there again to get more people to respond to it and extend the time frame, or?
Well, so we have this, what's the next step?
That's,
Like,
we need to discuss
what
that.
What are we doing with this information? You know, we put the time in to put this out there to gather information. What is the next logical step in the process then? What do we do with the information that we have?
Well, I think that's up to us, and I mean, I'm happy to keep it on the agenda so people can actually review it, because it doesn't sound like everyone's gotten the chance to digest it, but I think, number one, I think there's a couple different things. I think, number one, we have to, as a council, be better about appreciating our employees, because I think that was the most negative one. And then with regards to the comments, has everyone read the comments that were emailed out?
Yes.
Okay. If there's something that we want to do with results of those, we can talk about that as well. We can put it on the next agenda so people can review it again. I think some of these issues, like the HR issue that's talked about, could be addressed through charter. If the Charter Revision Commission wants to change the HR structure, that's something that can be done through charter. And I think that would be something that we may want to, you know, say when Charter Revision meets, say to them, listen, there are some concerns being raised about HR and management being the same string. Maybe we need to look at an organizational chart to see how this will work differently.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
Well, first of all, no matter who the town manager is, the town manager is gonna be the head of all the departments anyways, so, I read some of the comments, and, at the end of the day, if you take the totals of the percentages, for, the majority of the responses, of the 37, 38 responses, you're well over, satisfied
Yes.
employees.
Yeah.
So I would look at this as, in my opinion, being positive. There are some things that are, mentioned in there that could be looked at, but, it could also be one employee that's not happy about something. But,
Responding
again,
numerous
if-
times?
Excuse me?
Responding numerous times?
Responding numerous
Yeah,
times?
well, can you clarify, what do you mean by like one employee?
There might be some comment that's specific to a specific issue.
Right.
That means that you have an employee that's not happy about something. But if you take the percentages of the agreed and strongly agree, you're gonna find in most of the cases, if not all of them, with the exception of the council one, I think, that the employees are satisfied.
Negative one is us. The only one that's overwhelmingly
I mean,
negative is us.
we are volunteers, we give up a lot of time, especially you, Mr. Mayor. I don't know what these employees do. I mean, I have a sense of, I don't know them. How are we supposed to know whether they're doing a good job or not? I mean, if they are, I certainly appreciate them, but the whole thing, town council doesn't appreciate us. I mean, that's sort of like me as a judge saying the citizens of this state
Well, I
don't
can tell you where
appreciate
that
me
stems from.
if they haven't appeared before me. Maybe they don't know me,
I've lived in this town for a long time. I know probably 3/4 of the town employees. They are slighted at the fact that they feel this whole, from soup to nuts, right from the beginning, stemming from the last council, this was just swept under the rug. This was a poetry in motion, and they feel slighted from the last survey that they put forward, and apparently they said a lot of things that they feel didn't come out or weren't put into the whole process, et cetera, et cetera. And that is why your low turnout. There was a lot of people that just said, well, why am I gonna bother doing it?
If that's how they feel, I mean, really, I'm not sure what you do.
I mean, isn't there, if you're unhappy with something, I mean, can't you complain to, like, HR? I mean, like a normal job, right? I mean, I don't know. They
Well,
don't complain
and again,
to the
if-
council, do they? I mean,
Or their union rep that.
Right.
Talk about
But
it.
that doesn't happen. The unions come in occasionally, and we resolve an issue.
We had one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get them in my office occasionally to
Yeah.
discuss an issue. I had union president in this morning, and we discussed something regarding a matter that was resolved amicably.
Well, and also, we're not walking around we as the town council,
Yeah.
walking around where all the employees, I don't know exactly what we're supposed to be. Whenever I'm at a place, like if I go to the, I'm gonna say the word dump just because the transfer station. Transfer station, excuse me. When I go there and my wife and I were dropping stuff off or bringing this or bringing that, we always get treated very well, and the people there do a terrific job. And when I'm in here, I don't really know, other than the people I actually know who work in this building, Stash and Eddie and a whole bunch of other ones, and they're friends of mine. But other folks that I don't know, so I'm not sure how I'm supposed to act.
How are we supposed to appreciate?
Yeah, I don't know how to appreciate them.
Maybe something I don't know if in regular employee organizations, you do like employee of the month or like special recognitions awards. Maybe we need to think about doing some kind of like, each month, each department brings, nominates somebody and we recognize, maybe every quarter, we rotate departments. One police officer, somebody from the finance department, somebody from the secretaries, somebody, and we just like cycle them through so they can get a moment of recognition and share with us what they do, and then we recognize them for what they do based off of their supervisors.
That sounds fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
sounds like a good idea.
I think that may be something concrete we can do that,
Our newsletter kind of does that
so
already.
maybe when the department heads highlight somebody, or there's an employee of the month or employee of whatever, let us know and maybe we can put it on our agenda as a recognition.
That we can do.
Okay. I think that may be something we can do. I mean, that was the most negative result. I realize also, it says 37 responses, but 36 responses. I think that may be because I did a dummy with no answers to test it originally. I think that was our dummy test. It says 37 responses, but 36 responses everywhere else. I think that was our dummy test. So it's actually
I'm
36
gonna also
employees.
disagree. The feedback we get verbally, the majority of the employees are satisfied. I mean, you heard the new employee this, just a little while ago, and she's upstairs with those, individuals, and, not gonna make everyone.
Go ahead, Al, and then we can keep
I'm
moving.
a friendly guy.
I would make a recommendation, seeing that we have some new council members, and this goes back to the culture study on climate, that is it possible we could give the new colleagues a copy of the big culture study that came in originally, so they could have an idea for where this started from?
I
and
want to
moving
say,
forward?
did you guys get that at the beginning of the term? I think I distributed. Yeah, and it's on the town website too, I think. I think it's, the results are on the town website. But yeah, I can get it to Ann. I can get it to Ann, Al, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
And we'll get you a copy of, HR's newsletter, we'll make sure that's disseminated to the council.
We'll start putting that into the council, and then maybe as we evolve that, we
We
recognize
can
somebody.
recognize somebody from that newsletter.
Correct. Publicly.
Yeah.
One other piece of feedback that I got from somebody was that there are department heads that just submit the written packet, and they want, the piece of feedback I got was, they spend a lot of time writing those written submissions, that maybe we want to, when I'm giving the mayor's report or the liaison reports or the staff reports, read some of the highlights from those other reports, so that they know that the report doesn't just go in our packet and get thrown the other way. So they don't come to present, and they have the opportunity to if they wanted to, I suppose, but reading their packet back. So I'll commit moving forward to also reading their packet back, because I don't always do that. I'll just read highlights. I won't read the whole thing.
Yeah, and maybe pick out one a month or two, not all of them.
Correct, yeah, okay. Any further discussion on that one? Otherwise, we can pick, well, it's a standing item on our agenda, so we can always revisit it if somebody has an idea or wants to talk about something over the next month.
I have one idea.
Yep.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't mind, like, going to lunch with anybody who works for the town, like at Nostalgia or something, and talking to them, and.
Ooh, a shameless plug. I love it.
I mean,
I wouldn't mind that at all, I mean, if.
we can explore doing like coffee hours or
Yeah,
pizza hours or
yeah.
non-alcoholic
Something
bar
where
hours.
They lose an event and they go to lunch with the town council.
We'll make it, we'll call it mandatory training and patience.
For us.
For us.
Yes.
It's our training, okay,
Some
fair enough. I
person-
like that, maybe that's something we wanna do.
Poor town employee
It
would have
doesn't
to
take
go
much time. It involves food, of course.
Entered a contest and they lost, so
And
they end up
lost,
with us,
and they go
okay.
to lunch with us.
Okay.
Dutch treat.
So moving forward, we have no new business for tonight, so we'll now move on to item N. We'll start with N1, which is the March 6, 2025 special meeting budget workshop minutes. Can I have a motion to approve? Second by, made by Al, seconded by Paula. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed, and one abstention. Okay, next is the March 12th, 2025 public hearing minutes. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made, seconded. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Next is the March 19th special meeting minutes. Can I have a motion to approve?
So approved.
Second, any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. Okay, now, appointments. I see that some of the folks that are being appointed are here, so I will give them the opportunity to introduce themselves in any order that they like. If anyone wants to run up to the microphone and introduce themselves, otherwise, it's not required. We don't have to hear from you, but if you do want to, you're here. Yeah, if you want, it's not obligatory.
He
Straight-
said run up, didn't he?
I did say
I
run.
didn't run. Mike Canado, 136 Nooksville Road. I'm up for charter revision. Just a little FYI, we're having an awful time getting people that are not already public officials in some fashion or another. I have lots of public officials in different boards and commissions that want to jump in, but the legislature hands tied where we can only have 1/3 of the commission be a public official. So if you know anybody, please, we're live right now. If anybody out there, unaffiliated, Republican, Democrat, it's a nonpartisan commission. Anyone, please help us. Thank you.
And I would like to just say, Mr. Kanata has served before as the co-chair or vice chair, Mike? Was it?
Was vice chair once and member once.
Yeah, so Mike has served in both, two go-arounds of this. I will say with Mike, I think you all know him, I have nothing but the highest respect for him. I think he is beyond diligent, he's intelligent, he's hardworking. Being on planning and zoning and also being in town for the length of time that he is, I think he is a guiding star for this process. And even if you may not agree with everything that he always says, I think the great thing about Mike is you guys can have a conversation, shake hands afterwards, and move on to the next thing. He is excellent to work with. And so I heartily second that nomination. So I'm glad you're back on board for it.
I'm Matt Brown, 7 Court Place. So I am one of the public officials who are also interested, currently serve on the ZBA. And for me, it was one of the, I was really interested as, again, I've been involved in different areas within kind of the town, involved in the LGBTQ committee previously, currently on the ZBA. So looking for different opportunities to get involved. I think this is a great one that you're able to learn a lot more about how the town operates as well. And some of my prior work in terms of working in strategy roles, finance roles, I think would really kind of bring that different perspective to the committee as well.
And I would like to also plug your family in general is very involved in town. I believe your spouse and you are both very involved in the PTO and help work.
I'm also, I'm on the middle school PTO.
There we go.
And then my spouse is also in the building committee.
Yeah, so, a breadth of experience and a different perspective too. I think one of the goals that we have as a town is to try to get more people who have families and people different ages involved. And I think we need to get the whole breadth of people involved, and so having people who have kids in middle school, I think those voices are really helpful because you're in the thick of it in a lot of ways.
So, I've been in town about 15 years, so 2 kids, one in 5th grade, one in 8th grade as well, so it's really, love it and settled my roots, so just doing what I can.
Thank you, Matt.
Hi all, I am Cassandra. I also go by Cass, crew, 586 Main Street. I'm happy to say I'm not one of the elected officials who is interested in being appointed to the Charter Revision Commission. I come to you with experience from, I'm getting my master's in public administration, so a little bit in that. My undergraduate is in political science with the concentration of state and local government. But I also work for the state. I work for State Comptroller Sean Scanlon. So my whole background and career has been in government. So my involvement also is with the Democratic Town Committee here in Cromwell. I've been a resident, bought our home in April 2020, so 5 years with my husband back at home. But yeah, just wanted to kind of echo what Matt said, wanted to get more involved in the town and specifically in bringing a younger perspective to the commission, so appreciate your consideration.
Yeah, and I saw your husband when I was walking in, he was leaving a Children's Coalition meeting, and I heard, in addition to 2 cats, there may be a dog in your future.
Potentially.
Okay, okay.
We just adopted these 2 cats this weekend.
I heard the dog was coming, so, okay.
Yes.
You'll have to bring him to Charter Revision Committee meetings. That's the trade-off.
Thank you.
For some therapy there.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve A through F.
A through G, because Cass was added as G. Cassandra was added as G. She was an addition tonight.
Oh, sorry.
So is that your motion, A through G?
Yes, sir.
A through G? Second by Paula. Any further discussion on that? Before we vote on it, I just want to say a couple other words about some of the folks. Lori Ouellette, I am thrilled that she is willing to give her time to the Community Events Committee. Her and Alan Spots did the Old Riverport Festival, and I think the fact that she's willing to jump back into it is outstanding. She's outstanding, so I'm really excited to have her on. And Barbara Lessie, I'm excited, she works with the Historical Society, and I'm happy to have that representation on the Community Events Committee. And she has some private business experience, which I think will be really helpful to them as well. And Neva White, looking forward to having her more involved. She has, if you looked at her CV that she kind of outlined in her paragraph, I was really impressed by some of the recycling and other infrastructure work that she did before. I think having her in water pollution control will be helpful to have somebody with a different perspective on things there. So I'm ecstatic to see new names being added to the roster. That's really great to see new people stepping up. And Celeste, I don't know her very well, but I'm excited to have her step up too. So all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries unanimously. Now we have reappointments A through D.
Motion to approve A through D.
Motion made, second. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstention, motion carries. Informational items, 9:30, registration this Saturday will open at Attlebrook. They're having their, a big event, like a big walk, but it looks like it's gonna rain, so part of it's gonna be inside. But if folks are able to attend that, I think Attlebrook's a great community organization. They reached out to me and invited me to be part of their walking team. Not sure I'm the best walker in the world, but I'll wear some athletic wear and kind of look fun there. But Attlebrook's great. The services they do for people with autism are just outstanding. I think they said one of the news channels are going to be covering it and hosting it. But 9:30 Saturday, registration starts the event. The walk starts at 10. Attlebrook is, you remember where the old children's home was located? Next to Covenant Living? Yep, it's up Hicksville Road. Yep, by the pond. There's that little pond that is now fenced off. Yep, so it's right up that hill. And then other informational items, I don't know, did you mention the Historical Society is having its May Day?
I did not, but they are having it on the 15th, if I'm not mistaken.
15th?
I could be wrong, because I got the
No,
email.
I think you're right. I think it's May 15th. And then remember the referendum for the town budget and the solar panels are May 6th. Please tell everybody that you know it's May 6th. And then finally, I had one other thing that I wanted to say. May 6th, oh well, it's gone. Okay, that's it. May I have a motion to adjourn? A motion made, seconded. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carries. We are adjourned at 8:51.
We're getting better.